Captain Ron, what does it feel like when you're taking your boat out and there's 100 other boats that are planning their day around what you do?
Well, uh,
Hello and welcome to episode number 22 of the NJ Multi-Species Podcast. I am Joe Santiago, and of course, my partner, if you're on Spotify and can't see him, believe it or not, he is actually there, Chris Pereira.
I think my intro gets a little bit better from you every time. You get a little bit more hyped up. It's kind of weird.
All right, well, I'm excited. We have a big show tonight. Big
Yeah.
guest, Captain Ron Santee. Before he comes on, few things to talk about. I did not go fishing. I'm going on vacation next weekend. It was my birthday. I went to the Metallica concert, and I'm in vacation mode. I'm done fishing.
Where'd you sit at the Metallica concert?
What was that?
Where'd you sit at the Metallica concert? Like down in the mosh pit?
No, I was upstairs.
In what, like a VIP box?
Maybe it's possible. That's irrelevant though. So you went fluking.
Yeah, I went. Yeah, it's funny you should mention that. Yeah, I went fluking with Ken Lazarchak. I hope I said his last name right. But kind of started talking through the website.
Yeah, we met him through Mayhem. We didn't even know him, and
yeah, through this whole thing that we're doing, kind of, and it's kind of the point is we're doing this. Part of why we're doing this is so people can do this sort of thing, meet other people, go fishing, make new fishing buddies. You can't have enough fishing buddies, right? I've said it before. But yeah, that's what made me ask you where you sat, because he's a musician too. Quick shout out to if you want to check out his music, it's a Burning Red Sun. Just look him up. He's on Spotify and stuff too. But anyway, being a musician, he was pretty appalled that you went to a Metallica concert and sat up in the VIP box like royalty.
Those tickets were given to me as a birthday present from my brother-in-law, and they were awesome. What are you gonna say?
They wouldn't let you walk down and mingle with the commoners?
I wasn't inside that box for the concert. Like you go outside. No, you go out. You go out onto like a private patio.
Oh, that sounds much cooler.
It was great. I mean,
I'm sure. No, I'm sure it was. No, but anyway, so Ken invited me and Katie out fluking with him, and we went out there and it's pretty cool. I got to give him props. He doesn't fish some of his spots. He doesn't fish where other people fish. He had some spots that he found over the years, and the drifts were right on some of them, and we put some meat in the box. It was not. I mean, Katie outfished the both of us as usual. I don't know how they do it. People newer at fishing than the other guys just crush them. I don't know, call it whatever you like, but
I'm gonna fish with Ken. Whatchamacallit, when I get back from vacation, and also McMahon is talking to me. He's fishing in a fluke tournament the weekend that I'm going to Wildwood, but then the week you're in Wildwood, he wants to go sheep's head fishing, so he offered to take you sheep's head fishing while you're in Wildwood.
I've been talking about trying to go sheep's head fishing for a long time. I mean, and I was at our guest at the end of the month, Scotty Sevens. He guides out of the Ocean City area, and he just slays sheep's head. He put 2 double-digit sheep's head on his Instagram over the past couple of weeks, and I'm like, dude, I didn't even know they got that big that frequently. And so I'll be talking to him before I go down, trying to cut my learning curve down to try. I'm gonna bring my kayak and yeah, I'll try to get out there with McMahon as well. Anything,
All right.
anything I can do, try to get one of those sheep's head. I've never really tried for them. It's one of the few species in New Jersey that I haven't gotten yet.
Next week remains the mystery guest episode. The guest next week has written pretty much for every fishing application you could write for in the state of New Jersey. He is the mystery guest with a big announcement next episode.
And you know what? I bet you no one, well, most people, I bet you can't guess who they are just because he kind of disappeared from the New Jersey fishing.
Totally vanished. If you could guess who this is, don't ruin it for everyone, but
Yeah,
send an email to NJ Multispecies. If you could guess who the guest is next week that's coming on. A major name in the Jersey fishing world, like I said, wrote for pretty much every outlet and then vanished into thin air.
And if you're one of our close buddies in a group message and you know about it already, don't send us an email, you idiots.
So, RVTA, Round Valley Trout Association, had a tournament. Something happened in this tournament that I didn't know about either. It's another big surprise.
What happened?
So, apparently there's another Yanetta, and there's a girl, a sister.
Is that a sister or a cousin?
Yeah, no, it's a sister. It's Matt Yanetta's daughter.
Okay.
Justin's sister, Victoria Yanetta, and she won the junior division with 3.8 pounds.
Oh, great. So there's another kid that can outfish me.
Yeah, there's another one. So you got the two now bumped up into the adults, and we thought that we were free, and now apparently there's this Jedi girl they've been hiding that's now appeared.
You're going to bring your kids over there and win something.
I was gonna maybe, but now forget it. No, it's no good.
Don't bother.
Now I wondered now, like Justin has the left side of the boat, the dad has the right side of the boat. Where's she? Like she has the downriggers. Where's her territory? He's gonna need more boats.
maybe he has more than one boat already.
He might. Greg Wojcik again. He posted that gigantic catfish on Mayhem last week that everyone was craving about.
Yeah, that was cool.
He got the Lake Trout Division 2.66. I don't have the official standings on Fisher Person of the Year, but I feel like I've said this guy's name so many times over this podcast that he's got to be winning, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Sorry, do they release that information as the year
goes on?
They don't save it as like a surprise, so we can get that information.
That information, the public is entitled to know the standings of Fisher Person of the Year. I was going to reach out to Mike Conrad, and I never did. And then the Rainbow Trout Division, Justin Yanetta with a 2.6. I'd imagine the Yanettas are somewhere in the mix. Like I said, that's a total guess I'm taking. I just feel like I've said Greg Wojcik's name so many times, but also just because he caught the biggest fish of the day, the Fisher Person of the Year goes by the bag limit, so you don't know how many he had in the bag behind it. So we have to get that from Mike Conry.
Yeah, we'll get it. I mean, they're all killing it.
I was able to speak to So pretty much the gist of that is there is another young Jedi Yanetta coming up to kill everyone. John Gabrini's report. He told me he's just been fly fishing for wild trout while, let me see what he called them. He called them, he's getting beat down by fruity fly fishermen that worry about trout croaking.
What?
That is his fishing report. So he's fishing, he said the bass are in their typical summer patterns, but he is doing his wild trout fishing. I've seen him. He has been posting a lot of pictures of wild trout. He says he's getting a lot of flack for it.
Yeah, I mean, look. Yes, if you fight a trout in warm water, you could kill it for sure. But there are. I mean, look. I don't know. Maybe the guy's taking the temperature of the water. There's spots that have cold water coming into them all the time, and I mean, I don't think he's over fighting a 6-inch fish or whatever he's catching. And I don't know. I give the guy a benefit of the doubt. I mean, what do you
If
think?
he was seeing those fish die, he wouldn't be fishing. He would
Yeah.
just, if he ever even saw one of them die, he
And
would.
I don't think it's not one of those like delayed deaths where like the fish swims off strong and then 10 minutes later just keels over and floats away. I think if you were going to kill a trout for that reason, it would die pretty quickly.
Yes, I agree with that. But that was his report. I do not have a Lake Apacon report. We did finally get the LLC for the podcast. The podcast is now official. So that was kind of cool news for us. The logo's been released. Shark episodes continue to roll out. There are shorts. You can still watch the live, and you could watch actual chopped edits from the live, but you could also rewatch the entire thing from Chris's GoPro. That's pretty cool. And then there's also a new kayak fishing video out that is pretty cool. I went on Tilcon with Dwayne and caught a bunch of salmon and largemouth bass. That's out too on YouTube. So there is a bunch of
Now
new
you
stuff
realize
out.
you have to bleep out the name of the lake, right?
Did I say it?
Yeah, you said it.
Wow. Did I really?
Dude, mark this, please, and you're gonna have to bleep the name of that lake out.
I can't believe it. Adam Mihara, I finally slipped and I named a lake. Wow, it took me 22 fucking episodes and you got me. Damn it.
Oh man.
I slipped. I'm just kidding anyway. It wasn't Tilcon. It was
I gotta bleep it again.
shit.
Just stop talking. I picked up a couple of reports too. I mean, we had I don't know if you saw Mikey K Guide Service, not on a guided trip, but with some buddies, Rob Jasnick and Fast Eddie. They went out on the drift boat and caught some pike. Did you see that?
First of all, they not only did they catch pike, they caught 2 giant pike. For Mike K, I'm pretty sure, caught the Skillful Angler leaderboard pike. And of course,
I thought Rob's was bigger.
Well, no. Listen to the story. Mikey, I'm pretty sure Mikey caught one and released it and I'm like, Mike, you got a ruler picture? He's like, nah, it's gone. Like, no picture. I'm like, that's the leader. There's not even a fish entered.
Yeah, it's empty.
Then I think after that, Rob caught the bigger one. So they got 2 giants, but then, I mean, even beyond the pike fishing, they went on a big drift trip Saturday with the drift boat down the Delaware.
Yeah.
With Jerry Zagorski. And it looks like I saw pictures of a lot of people holding some nice smallmouth, and it looks like that was a full trip too. No, so yeah, Mike K, it looks like Mike K had a hell of a weekend with that drift boat.
I don't know if he has plans of opening that type of trip up to like his
Oh, he does. Business. I did. I asked him. He does. Yeah.
Yeah, I asked him the same thing. He didn't tell me. I guess it was supposed to be a surprise. But no,
I actually asked him on Instagram like a while ago, and I think he answered it like 2 days ago. He's like, "Yeah, I do." So I think eventually, yeah, that thing will be available for everyone. We'll see.
And you know what? So I have some emails here from Ken Lyons. Kevin Lyons. These emails were just getting completely covered in spam. We get a lot of spam in our inboxes, our email and stuff. We're trying to filter through it. So I missed a couple of your emails. I apologize. He's been talking about smallmouth bass. He's been whacking on some nice smallmouths, he said, at Round Valley, and he's been doing some catfishing on Spruce Run. Said the hybrids are playing. He's been doing the live bait thing over there, power drifting it around and stuff. Sounds like pretty good setup.
And where's he, Chris? What part of the state?
Sounds like he fishes all over. He was even talking about trying to fish Lake Opakon. I got to answer him after this. I felt bad because he's asking me about Lake Opakon, where to launch the boat and stuff. And I'm like, how many emails did I miss here?
Yeah, we do get a lot of spam. So if you're not getting an answer from us somewhere, just send us a message somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean,
we get most of it.
We try, but we do get a lot. We got a lot of Russian prostitutes in there.
The only other news I have is Chris wrote a very long post on Mayhem. Some other guys put some posts up first. Kevin Glenn, Adam Mihara. Basically, the logistics of the post was just that we continue to do it, continue to do the podcast, continue to do free giveaways, and we do not ask for anything, but we do need your help. We need you to hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and we need you to follow the Facebook page. Not join Mayhem. We need you to follow it. In order for us to continue to give away bigger and better stuff and keep the podcast going, that's all we need of you, is those 2 clicks. You have no idea how huge just clicking those 2 things for us are.
Yeah.
Chris put out a pretty nice text, and like I said, a couple guys came out to bat for it. And we do appreciate it, and we really appreciate the people that have already done it. I mean, if it wasn't for you, we would have stopped doing this 2 months ago. But it rolls on, and the plans continue to get bigger, but we do need support to do it.
Yeah,
we almost just died in a storm. We drove very far away. We did all that. We are preparing for another one, a surprise one in Washington, D.C. that will be live for even longer.
Now you just gave it to the secret guest.
That does help with the secret guest. We are going. I didn't say we were going with him, but it does give another hint to the secret guest. But guys, yeah, that's all we ask. We don't ask for much, or we really don't ask for anything except for some shirts. We shake down for shirts, but
yeah, look, check it out.
Yeah, that's it. Other than that, we just ask for 2 clicks. Subscribe on YouTube, and please just hit follow on our Facebook page. Then you could turn notifications off and never hear from us again. Just click it first, and then that's it.
And send me free shirts. I'll wear them on the podcast, just like Eddie Mackin's ripping lips.
We will wear free shirts. First Light does give us, me and Chris, a discount, so First Light too. We'll throw one. The New York Yankees have not contacted us yet, so I should duct tape this. I think now we could get ready to go into Captain Ron. Is Captain Ron ready?
Yeah, let's get Captain Ron in here. I'm excited about this.
So our next guest is finally here. We were able to get him in on the Skype, which is always the most difficult part of the show. Him and his family have roots in the Atlantic Highlands and the party boat business for over 50 years now. We're very honored to have Captain Ron Santee of Captain Ron's Fisherman.
Captain Ron, welcome.
Hello, Captain Ron.
I got to say, I was telling Joe before, I think I told you before as well, I don't fish on head boats, party boats that often, but when I do, I try to get on your boat, and I'm not the only one. I mean, guys really respect what you've been doing for all these years.
We actually put out a kind of a trailer advertisement that you were coming on the show to see if people had any questions. We were inundated with about 16,000 positive comments. They're not questions. They're just So we're actually sifting through thousands of positive comments to find the questions and pick them out. So the feedback is unbelievable, and basically, if you've ever been fishing in the Atlantic Highlands or out in the Raritan Bay or anywhere around Sandy Hook, you've probably seen Captain Ron's Fisherman, inevitably. If you haven't, you're fishing in the wrong place. What is it like to have to, fish a 72-foot boat as opposed to a 20-footer like we're used to?
Before you answer that, when was the last time you even had to captain a smaller boat? Have you just...
Never. I mean, I ran a charter boat for a guy filling in one day. He was sick, and I ran a charter for him on a small charter boat, but that was a piece of cake. I mean, there was only 12 guys on the boat. There wasn't 50,
So it's not weird or like odd for you that it's smaller. It's just easier because it's smaller.
Yeah, it was a lot less pressure. You're only trying to satisfy 14 people as opposed to a boatload. The current tangles, everything else that's involved in it. Most of the charter guys I know, they all tell me, you say, hey, you want to run the boat for me one day? They're like, there's no way in hell they want to come and do what I do. They're taking 6 people out, and it's a lot easier. Believe me, they can fish smaller pieces, they can work smaller pieces. The same 50 fish I'm trying to target is, you just have to go multiple places to try to get that done, where they could hover over a bottom and do some damage.
Right. And you may have, like, for example, you may have some real nice spots, but they may be real small spots. You can't really hit those spots with such a big boat, because then you're leaving 75% of the people fishing.
Yeah, well, we call it scraping. I mean, if I find a line of fish, I can work it. And I mean, you're not going to catch 20, 30 fish adrift. You may catch 3 or 4. But if you do that 10 times and you work that piece, you got your 30 or 40 fish,
Yeah.
as long as they're biting. If not, then you move somewhere else, maybe deeper water, shallower water, a different piece of rock, a wreck. There's a lot of different options you have.
Well, I think that statement that you just said really sums it up. You said it. You tried to satisfy everyone on your boat on a trip,
Of course,
and I mean,
absolutely.
I'll be honest. I've been out with guys that don't have that same,
Yeah.
philosophy.
Well, it's just like with our charters. Charters are mostly corporate people. They're not a lot of fishermen. There may be a couple in the group, but I fish my charters the way I fish with my regulars. I don't cut back on where I got to go. If I got to fish a rocky piece of bottom, we lose a lot more tackle, but we're trying to educate them. I'm not going to take the money and run. I want these people to learn so they come back. And over the last, 25 or 30 years, I mean, I have people that have been with me for 20 years, the same companies that keep coming back. So that says something for, they're catching something, they're going home with something. It's not, they enjoy a day out. Then they're a lot easier to please, believe me. They catch 3, 4 sea bass, they're doing cartwheels, where the regulars, they want their 10,
I mean, yeah, but any real fisherman knows fishing is fishing. You can't ask for a limit every day. You can't ask for
Of
big fish
course.
every day. You can't even, some days you
Of
can't even
course. Of
ask
course. Yeah,
for
day
a
out.
keeper.
We were catching a lot
But
here and there. And one of the regulars is like, listen, I take you here. I ran an hour and 40 minutes. I'm here to catch big fish. If they're keepers, fine. But you're not going to catch a boatload of 5 to 10 pound fish anymore. It's just not going to happen.
yeah, well, that's a whole other thing we can get into.
Yeah.
Captain Ron, what does it feel like when you're taking your boat out and there's 100 other boats that are planning their day around what you do?
Well, there's not too much of that anymore. I mean, you go out during the week around here, and there's a lot of times we're the only boat out.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. The weekends with the tournaments this weekend was busy, but there is nowhere near, since COVID or whatever has happened, the economy, there is nowhere near the boats that have been out there. And, some of the areas we fished, they're not that big, but I mean, we have the electronics and technology to fish some of those snags that, I mean, I'm looking right at them. If one piece of the bottom isn't holding fish, the other piece is, I can go right back to it. A lot of guys will just come out, they're in the area, or they won't get too close or whatever. They'll just stop, they're in the area, and they watch us catch, and they're not producing the same. It's a totally different work ethic. We're out there 7 days a week, not one day on, hey, it's my day to fish. It's a big difference. It's my life.
I mean, and what's cool is that you share a lot of that information in your fishing reports. And I mean, yeah, so people know you're catching, you're not catching as much, or you had to move a lot, or whatnot. You share a lot,
Right.
And I think everyone really respects and appreciates that as well, because you're not even just helping the customers that are coming on your boat a lot. You're helping also the guys who maybe come on your boat every once in a while, but also have their own boats or their buddies with boats, and they're going out there sometimes on their own, and they're going to check in on Captain Ron's reports.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, they really should be looking more into wind direction, current. What are going to be the conditions? Where can I go to get a drift? What area can I fish? You know, every part of that ocean, there's a different current that's going to go against the wind. You need to find the area where, you know, days you have no wind. You got to find somewhere where there's at least, you know, a half a knot current to make the boat move, or you're power drifting. You know, you're using the engines all day to move the boat. And you do that with 50 people on the boat, you get tangles, you have problems, but that's what you have to do to produce. You know,
I was going to say, are you able to do that effectively?
absolutely.
That big?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's, I mean, I got to imagine that takes a lot of practice.
It practice,
I-
patience, and just, you know,
I
making
know
sure.
it's fluke. I know it's fluke season, and we're on the fluke topic. But when I was a kid, Captain Ron's Fisherman was the king of striper fishing. When
Yeah.
you went whenever we went striper fishing, we were going night fishing on Captain Ron's Fisherman for
Yeah.
stripers.
Yeah, totally different. We don't even do that anymore. You know, the night work, the night healing and stuff, it's done. It's gone. No, we don't have it. You know, even in the spring, we would clam fish. We lost the clam fishing, and now this spring coming, I won't even bass fish. It's mostly a troll bite. Um, it's tough. You know, the guys with the 4 and 6 passengers, they go out, they troll the mojos, they catch them. I go out. I mean, prime example. The last 2 years, I'd be out. There'd be a ton of bass. We tried throwing the shads, everything else we could do. And Joe Acapinti on the Little Hawk and Pete on a hyper striper would come up the side of me. They'd have 5 rods go right off. I'd watch the fish swim under the boat. We wouldn't hook up a one. I mean, it's very frustrating. So we're not going to do that anymore. I don't have to. You know?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, because I mean, I'm obviously I'm not out there as much as you, but I'm out there enough.
While he's on the subject though, what exactly happened to that clam? Like, why did the clam bite stop? Because that's all we did when I was a kid.
Well, after Sandy, there were no more clams. Those beds got wiped out. The guys from Belford, Reno, and those guys, I mean, they were just, you know, 300 to 500 bags a day. When Sandy came, it washed out all the seed. The beach replenishment hasn't helped, you know, taking in the jetties, taking out the jetties and everything else. It's just not a natural thing anymore. I'm sure them fish are in the bay, they're eating bunkers. There's got to be a couple that would want to come and eat a clam, but clams are $60 a bag. You know, I need 8 to 10 bags a day to go out. I can't do that anymore. It's ridiculous.
So it's not even just, it's a combination of things. So you're
Absolutely.
saying these clam beds were kind of messed up. I mean, I'm sure there's some, like you said, but it's just not the amount anymore.
No.
And then that also makes the buying the bait for them more expensive, and it's the two together. I guess it's just not even worth it.
No, absolutely. Now the difference in the fall, we get a shad and a jig bite. It's incredible. Last fall was, my God, the last couple of falls have been excellent. We've evolved from jig fishing between the channels to now the last 2 years, it's been mostly the shads, you know, the big storm shads and, you know, some top water stuff. And the fish have just been moving in the bait. And I mean, we've caught them from Staten Island all the way down to Long Branch and Asbury Park, following them down the coast. That's tremendous fishing. It's great. You know, it's for young people, for anybody that wants to get into it and have a blast. You know, that's real fun. That makes a lot of people happy. It really does. And the whole thing with, you know, well, how many can you keep? Most of those people, they don't care. We have bonus tags. They get the one small one for dinner. They play catch and release. They get their picture, and it's just a great thing, you know. So that kind of made up for our spring dilemma.
Yeah, I mean that sounds great, and I think one of the big reasons, at least for me, I don't know about Joe, but we wanted to have you on here. We have a lot of guys that listen to this and that are on the page and stuff, and they only freshwater fish, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And we kind of want to open up new chances for that. Like, if you want to try saltwater fishing, going on Captain Ron's Fisherman is an awesome way to jump in, you know, try something new, expand your fishing.
Right. And it's fishing. If you freshwater fish, lake fish, pond fish, it's fishing. People who fish, have a knowledge. When I explain to them how to fish for what we catch, they get it because they're fishermen.
Yeah.
The only difference is it may be heavier tackle or a different rig, but it's fishing. It's the feel. It's the bite. I could tell you the bite when you start to experience, the difference between a Begall bite and a real sea bass hit, or, you have to learn all those things. I go to Florida and I fish for lane snappers, and it's the same thing as like black fishing. You're waiting, you feel the little hits of the grunts and stuff that are taking your bait. You're waiting for that 1 second where there's a delay. That other fish is coming. There's a delay, and then you get that big hit. Bam, you got the lane snapper. Yet the guy next to me is swinging constantly, wondering why he's losing his bait because they don't know the bite yet. And it takes time to develop that with any fishery, but especially black fishing. You see some guys that fish with Jerry, and they'll go out and they'll catch 25 blackfish. 2 guys will catch nothing. They won't get a bite, or they get a bite and they don't know what the bite is.
Right.
It's like anything else.
That's what's cool about fishing. It's like there's similarities in everything, but there's differences in everything, and every species has its little thing. Every technique has its little thing, and the combinations are just endless. I think for me, that's why I love fishing the most. I think right there.
Absolutely.
But also, if you don't have any of the tackle or gear required, a boat like the Fisherman supplies everything.
Yeah,
based on what species they go for, they give you whatever you need.
Right. We tie our own rigs, simple rigs. I mean, for Fluke, we have a couple if they got the little teasers on them and stuff like that, but we try to keep everything simple. We try to, like now we're starting to catch mackerel, which those chub mackerel, it's the best bait in the world for Fluke. I mean, you put that on, it's almost instant fish. So, we're trying to get a lot of that now. We just started catching them over the weekend. So hopefully,
what would you say? My daughter, I have a 7-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son, and they've done some freshwater fishing and stuff on the lakes. What is the age you recommend to bring them onto the party boat?
I would say at least 10 years old.
At least 10.
I mean, only because we're fishing offshore. I mean, God forbid the south wind comes up, it gets nasty. You don't want their first experience to be that they came out and at first it was fun, then they got sick, because you're going to lose a fishing partner for life. And I've told people that have come down to the dock, and I've told them, I said, listen, you don't want to take that young man out today. Take him on a half-day boat. Let him see if he's even going to like it. And they've actually argued with me where I said, look, I'm not going to let you on the boat. I'm not going to, you should be arrested for child abuse if you bring that kid out today, and it's going to be ugly, and he's going to get sick, and he's going to hate you. And when you go in the room to wake him up, he's going to crawl under the covers and never fish with you again. So they end up listening. And then at the end of the day, when they come in, they never experienced the ocean, but they said, you know what, it was a nice, calm day. And, we'll be back when he gets a little older and can appreciate it more, rather than being in a cabin playing on their phone,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Joe traumatizes his kids all the time, and they still seem to like it. So I don't think you need to worry about that.
I'm trying to get some of the questions up that
I've got some here.
I have one from me personally, Captain Ron. When you go fishing on a party boat, I know everyone has the same question all the time. What do you tip the mate? I mean, what's the standard to just tip the mate?
My God,
no one seems to know.
You got to remember, it's like anything else in a service business. You go to a restaurant, if you have a miserable waitress and you see her once, you're not going to throw her a $20 bill. You're not going to, if you eat at a fancy restaurant and the bill is, $200, I mean, you're not going to throw her $40 if she was miserable and the food was so, same thing with a crew member. If he's not there, at least encouraging you, giving you some kind of insight or helping you out of a tangle, or you see a fish, take off a fish, then, you throw him $10. If he's a good guy and he had a great day, throw him $20. I mean, I have customers that'll tip $30, $40. If they win the pool, a lot of them will give the crew the pool, or they'll give them half the pool. It just, I want to be treated, and I want my customers to be treated the way I want to be treated when I go out. So I tip accordingly. And, when I fish on the head boats down in Florida and stuff, I take care of the guys. It's
The
just
the that's a good the pool is another good point. Do you just want to explain the pool to someone who's never been on a party boat?
Before we move on from that, I know Captain Ron wants to give a shout out too because his mates are friggin' awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, I was just on with Captain Ron. Joe, you know this. Me and a couple of my buddies came on to kind of fish in memory of my other buddy Artie that passed away a couple of Novembers ago. And I think the last time I was on your boat, it wasn't the same mates. I don't remember. They were good too, but the guys that you had on this last time we went, a month and a half ago or so.
Yeah, Joe and Robbie.
Joe and Robbie. I forgot their names.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
yeah.
I mean, and me and my buddies, we fish all the time. We don't need them to tie rigs for us and stuff like that. Plenty of people do need that help. But even just like if my buddy tangles with me and the mate's not doing anything, he comes over and he's all right, like I know I'm gonna tip him at the end. I'm gonna tip him, well. So I take that time. Okay, he's not helping anyone that needs more help. He's doing that. I relax a little bit. Like I'm fishing on a head boat and it's part of the service.
Right.
And Captain Ron's mates are awesome. I mean, I can't imagine someone at the end of that day, from what I experienced, not giving them and it's going to differ per person. Some people afford a more than others.
You got to remember that, Chris, everybody that comes on this boat, they're living, hand to mouth. A lot of these people, I mean, they're blue collar people. They got all they can do. We charge $90 for the fare. It's a $5 pool. Their lunch, just the fact to get here between the gas and tolls, it's $150, $175 day for these guys. And I get it, believe me. So, and the crew gets it too. As long as most of these guys, we see them once, a lot of them twice a week. It's a big expense. It really is.
Yeah. Well, people enjoy it. I mean, you got to live your life too. You got to do what you want to do. You got to do what you like to do. You got to do what you like.
Absolutely.
All right, so Joe, sorry, you want the pool for anyone who hasn't been on a head boat? If you want
just to explain what the pool is, because they might not even know what that is.
Yeah, the pool, it's a simple, the largest fish of the day. Now, if we're fluking, it's fluke only. Okay, when we stripe bass fish, it could be a striped bass, it could be a bluefish, but it's pretty much sea bass fishing. It could be a bottom fish because we're bottom fishing. It could be a codfish. And we explain that to everybody. It's $5. It's not, we don't have guys coming putting sinkers in the fish oh man, I got to win, at $110.
Yeah.
It's just a little fun thing. That's all it is.
All right, Captain, I'm going to ask you, so we don't keep you here all night. I'm going to ask you a few questions from the emails.
Okay.
Jerry Zagorski wants to know what's the toughest part of the party boat fishing business?
The toughest part? Oh, man, the toughest part.
It seems like it's all tough. It seems like there's nothing easy about this.
There's nothing easy. It's dealing with the fuel, dealing with the bait. I mean, it's not really tough when you love what you do. The toughest part is probably catching enough fish to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
The tough part is that you care.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be doing this all this. I mean, I could have retired a long time ago, but I would rot. What would I do? This is my life. I love seeing every one of my customers. If I retired, I would never. They're my best friends on the boat. I know about their lives, their families. They don't come to my house for dinner, so I would never see those people again. If I stopped tomorrow, I would never see any, maybe chat on the computer once in a while, and I would miss them. When somebody dies, I mean, I put a post up for him. One guy told me, he said when he died, he wanted me to do his obituary. I mean, because it was such a, the way I remember these people. And that's where I'm coming from,
It must mean, I mean, like Chris's friend, he wanted his ashes spread off your boat. Obviously, it has a pretty deep meaning to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you know what, Joe? When when Artie's sister, I told her, I said, look, this was his favorite boat, and I named a couple other boats in case she couldn't get on the Fisherman. And she called me right back. She said, "Oh, I called Captain Ron, and he remembered Artie, and that's the
Yeah.
boat we're going to use."
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Luke, better known as Pukey Luke.
Just a heads up, Captain Ron, if this guy tries to come on your boat, he's going to puke for the whole 8 hours.
Yeah, I figured that.
He wants to know how much you know about the history of the party boat business and how it's changed for you over the years.
Oh God, the history of the party boat business started with they were called head boats and party boats because the beer companies owned most of the big triple deckers, like out in New York and stuff.
Really?
The
I
beer
never
com-
knew that. Is that why it's a party boat?
Party boats, yes, because the beer companies owned them. They would charge per head to come on. They would charge a couple dollars, promote their product, and guys would be up on the third deck reeling up a sea bass, and the guys on the first deck would be pulling in the lines and cutting off the fish. And there's 800 people on this boat. How the hell are you going to go down and find a guy who just cut your line or took your fish? But that was the beginning of it. And there's a tremendous site, Mel's Place, and it goes back to the 1800s of the beginning of all of this. And the captains used to come down in suits with the white hats, and it was just there was a lot of respect there, and it was just today it's totally different. Today you put the radio on, nobody talks, you don't hear, maybe once in a while you hear a little conversation. It's so much different. It's actually pretty lonely now, really, to tell you the truth. Most of the guys I grew up with, all my mentors, they're all retired, or a lot of them have passed. Marty Haynes just passed last year. I mean, another one. It's sad, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you just kind of hope you can pass as much as you can on to the next generation as time goes on. But I mean, hey, there's nothing you can do. Time goes.
Yeah, it does, and it's tough. You can't sell passion. You either have it or you don't.
That's true.
Especially to do this. Yeah, for any man to get up, and I'm not pounding my chest, but man, any man that could get up 7 days a week for months on end without a day off. Today we got rained out. It wasn't a day off. We changed oil. We did work on the boat. So there's no downtime. Let me go sit on the couch and chill for it's months on end of this, and you have to be geared for that.
Oh yeah, well trust me, and then that's why we appreciate so much you coming on here and talking to us, because we know.
Yeah, I don't want to bug them too much.
That's all right.
Ken Lazarchek wants to know: has the new Fluke regulations 2 at 17 and 1 over 18 helped or not? And if it has helped, do you have an explanation of why?
I don't. It hasn't helped. Any regulations that keep taking away from what we do doesn't help. It's just more bureaucracy, and just the whole thing is a mess.
What would you personally like to see the Fluke number at?
I would say 5 fish from 16 or 16 and a half and over. Give us a couple more back. We paid our dues for years. For what reason? Keep giving back, and there's no reward at the end of the
But
line.
why do they continuously let the commercial fishermen get away with whatever they want, and they crack down on the actual fishermen?
That's a whole can of worms there.
That's a whole nother episode.
That's a whole can of worms. But all in a nutshell, we don't have a political lobby. The commercial guys do. They're feeding, thousands and thousands of people. We're just trying to take people out for a nice day. So there's a big difference there. They have the lobbyists. They have the money to do it. I mean, I can't afford it. We can't afford to. We've had groups, and we tried to save the summer flounder thing, all of that. When you get up against the big guys, if you don't have money behind you, where are you going? Nobody wants to hear it.
Yeah.
Do you think we're anywhere near seeing a party boat going out for weak fish again out of the high? No.
And you know what?
No.
Like, I know you agree with this too, Ron. Rule of thumb: I don't want any new regulations. I don't trust anything that they put on us. I don't trust any new regulations. And guys will argue like, oh, well, you got to regulate how many fish you're keeping it. And I'm like, well, I get what you're saying, but you're just spitting on a forest fire because they're letting the commercial guys take however, tons more.
Yeah. That's a tough bridge for me. I mean, I have my personal opinions, but like I said, that opens up a whole nother can of worms. And,
now you upset him, Joe.
No. It's just,
We all know. I mean, we know.
Yeah.
We know.
Well,
we basically know the answer.
Yeah.
Mikey K, he wanted to say that the memories of seeing you and your father together in the wheelhouse were some of the best memories he has with his buddy Jimmy. He said they had a blast every weekend. Big fishing party with all the regulars, always caught fish on Captain Ron's Fisherman. Great memories.
Yeah.
Scott,
he's a big freshwater guy now, Mike.
Yeah.
He's a guide now, I believe.
He was on here. We did an episode where we interviewed him.
Yeah. And Jimmy was aces. He worked for me for a few years, and a great kid, great personality. People loved him. He loved his job. So I had a lot of good guys in my life, man.
Scott Howard wants to know, what fish species if you had one choice, what fish species do you wish you could have back that is now closed or non-existent?
Wow, I would say probably the weak fish.
See, I'm pretty sure I'd have to. I'll if I find it, I will post it online. I'm pretty sure I caught my first ever weak fish on Captain Ron's Fisherman. I think I was about 8 years old, so it was 31 years ago.
Yeah, in the early 80s, it was incredible. I mean, we had big weak fish, 10, 12-pound weak fish. We wormed them, Nordic eels. It was just tremendous fishing. And just then it went down to smaller fish. They went to small fish, and we would drift the reach in the fall. I haven't seen it. Somebody will catch a breeder once in a while in the spring when a few come in to spawn, but you don't see anybody posting pictures. And even if it did, what are you allowed? 1, 2? I don't even know anymore.
It's 1.
1. There you go.
We were down in Shark River fluke fishing real early in the season when they were in there, and some schools of real nice size weak fish actually came in, and I thought it was the coolest thing. We caught a couple.
Yeah.
They're fun fish, and they're beautiful.
They were beautiful, and that was the whole thing. The striped bass seemed to fill in that void. Thank God the bass fishing started picking up as that started to disappear, and that ended up taking over for us. So here we are.
Ron's getting a call. Someone wants to go fishing.
Someone wants to see if you're going out tomorrow in the bad weather or not.
Yeah. No bad weather. It's going to be beautiful.
I don't know, Chris. Do you want? Should we bother him anymore?
Well, I thought you were going to ask Scott's other question, because he told me to ask who's the biggest asshole he ever had on his boat that's not named Rocco. You don't have to answer that one. Just promise he asked the question.
Scott Tarnowski wants to know what happened to the bluefish.
Oh, well, here, no, let me take care of it. So, Captain Ron.
Yes.
Scott Tarnowski used to live here, used to fish all the time. He moved up. He's a guide on Lake Ontario now.
Okay.
He started talking about the bluefish. I said, Scott, we haven't had good big blue fishing in Raritan Bay in a couple of years now.
Yeah, several years. Yeah.
So you agree with me?
Oh, absolutely.
There it is.
I should have called Ron before the show and had him get him in on this joke.
No.
Tell him he's been pounding 25-pound gator blues.
Just got to know where to find them.
Captain Ron, it's been absolute pleasure to have you on here. Hopefully we could have you back on here eventually, and hopefully we get to go fishing with you and bring our cameras too.
That'd be awesome.
You know what that just made me think? If we wanted to get together a group, if we checked, if we had enough people that were interested, and we wanted to charter your boat, I mean, I think that's something with the group of listeners and stuff.
Yeah.
I think we give Ron a call and maybe set up
a mayhem charter trip.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome.
That would actually be awesome. You just thought of that right now?
Yeah.
Well, I thought about it before, but you just said like, oh, I hope we fish with you soon, and I just.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Maybe we'll do that.
You could even add a little something special in there, like some of the proceeds will be donated to one of the kids' fishing schools or one of these charter schools that take the kids out fishing and stuff like that, and make it a little more interesting. Like other than having fishing, we're gonna do a good purpose with it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Captain Ron, I can't thank you enough for your time. I know time's valuable. I know you're a busy, tired man, but we appreciate the work that you do.
Thank you.
And it's an honor to talk to a real fisherman.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Know how much hard work that this whole thing is talking to you about it, because like you said, you freaking love it, and
yes, sir.
That's what keeps you going.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.
Take care.
You too.
All right, so that was Captain Ron. We finally were able to get him on. Could stay on here with most guests. Could stay on here for another 10 hours. With him, I could have stayed on here probably another 30 hours, but it's just not physically possible, especially when you guys just don't hit subscribe. I'm really not staying here any longer. So, no, I'm not gonna flip out. I'm too tired. But yeah, that was cool. I have to say that was cool. A lot of you, I don't like interviewing you because I already know you, so I pretend it's cool, but it's not. That was actually really cool. Like, I learned a lot. The thing with the party boats again, like the thing with the guy that talked about the muskie in the car from Newark Airport to Greenwood, that blew my mind.
No, I've never heard that story or any version of that before.
And now just hearing Ron say that the party boat is that because of the beer companies and it's called a head boat, that blew my mind also.
No, and I'm like picturing like he's talking about the guys lifting it up onto the third story of the boat and the guys underneath trying to steal them off the thing. I'm picturing it. It's like an awesome piece of history.
Oh, yeah. It goes way back. And his father was in the business before him. So the family has very deep roots in the commercial business. Well, it's not even commercial. That's not commercial, right? That's, I don't know what you call that. Party, I guess, pleasure fishing.
Commercial fishing are the guys that drag the nets and stuff. I mean,
that's party boat, charter boat fishing.
This is the recreational fishing business.
So yeah, that was awesome. Lake Apacon. Me and Aaron Graybill are like running late tonight. Aaron said the fishing's fairly good. If you're looking to do some fishing, it's good. He doesn't have enough time to send me obvious specifics.
That's why I'm wearing Eddie Mack and Rippin' Lips shirt instead of the Lake Apacon Guide Service shirt.
Yeah, me and Aaron are not on the same page today. But he's been, you know what it is? Graybill's so busy with the kids' camp over at Horseshoe Lake that he's just...
He's last episode or no? No, because we were busy
2 episodes ago.
Bitten in the leg by sharks and hit by lightning and shit.
Yeah, 2 episodes ago. He's been very busy with that, so he's been he's busy. I'm just busting his chops. But yeah, the kids thing's going pretty well over there. Eddie Mackin I haven't talked to. He's vanished. He's here somewhere, but I don't know where. Look,
guys, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, if you haven't figured out, we're never going to get to everything. It's impossible. That's why we made the Facebook page. All right? That's why we have an Instagram. Like,
all right, don't start yelling at people.
No, I'm not. But that information, the kids camp information is on there. It's posted multiple times. And if you don't see it, if you make a post and say, oh, hey, can anyone share something? There was a kids camp or something I heard about. guaranteed within a couple of hours at most.
Yeah, you're right.
You're going to get a link, you're going to get a response, and that goes for any question you have about fishing. Someone's going to help you there. That's why we made it.
And I have to say, you could ask Deuce this. We all used to get sent to a summer rec program in our town where you hung out all day and played shuffleboard and table hockey and ping pong, and it was awesome. I was never, as a kid, I went to baseball camp, basketball camp. I was never, as a kid, offered fishing camp. If I was, that would be amazing. Unfortunately, I don't live close enough to send my kids to this specific one, or I would.
Well,
But yeah, it's a really awesome. It's just too far for me, too early in the morning. But
yeah, I mean, I was going to say your kids are lucky enough that they can go fishing with dad. A lot of people don't know enough about fishing to show their kids how to fish. They want to learn too.
yes,
And that's kind of what I think I mentioned it probably on the Facebook page. I said, look, if I was someone who wanted to learn myself about fishing and I had a kid that I wanted to learn about fishing too, you bring them to this camp and you kind of hang around. Now all of a sudden you're getting two for the price of one because you're learning and you're only paying for your kid to learn. I mean, you gotta take advantage of the situation, guys.
and also like you in your post, kind of the Facebook limits the usage of these pages, like all the guides, even Captain Ron. Facebook pages are limited basically to 10% output, and then they want to get charged. They want to charge them to have a longer post reach. So a group like Mayhem allows businesses, especially local ones, to advertise their stuff and people actually see it. When you post in Mayhem, it goes to everyone. It doesn't go to 10% of the news feed. That's why we need the support to keep Mayhem going. And all we ask is a click. Just click. That's it. Next week is the mystery guest. The mystery guest, I will give you a hint. Years ago, he did a live podcast episode with Joe Cermelli from Field and Stream magazine, and they went to the Potomac River in Washington, D.C., and they got skunked live on the podcast.
Ooh.
He is looking to do a redemption trip with me and Chris. Now, the last podcast was just audio. There was no video. This one's going to be video, and it's probably going to be at least 12 hours.
Wait,
so that is in the work. What's that?
A live podcast fishing with just audio?
Back then, yeah, they didn't do video yet, so they just recorded the audio as they did the fishing trip.
All right. I mean, I feel like
It is online. You could listen to it. I think it's in Hook Shots.
The secret's out now because someone.
It's not out. You still don't know who the guest is.
They're gonna Google what you just said, and they're gonna know who it is. So you just blew.
If they're willing to put that much effort into Googling it, then they deserve to know early.
I bet you every single person that hears this is going to do that, and they still won't click on the subscribe button.
They probably won't. Whatever. That's why we're just going to lock them all out of the site, and it's just going to be basically me and Jen Wan posting flexing pictures in there.
When's Jen Wan going to come on? I want to talk to him.
Yeah, we're going to get Jen in here. I got to go fishing with Jen. The other thing is Dave Awe. We are planning a live flathead catfishing YouTube with Dave Awe. So that's another thing. In September, me and Chris are fishing a tournament for the Round Valley Trout Association where we are taking a veteran out fishing. It's a veterans tournament. Members are going to take out veterans, and we're going to see which veteran can win, I guess. So we're going to try to help a veteran win.
God bless the guy that gets stuck with us.
Yeah, if Mike Connery or any of the guys are watching, if you find like a veteran that you really don't like, I guess that's the one you send to us. So yeah, other than that, we're entering the dog days of summer. most of the good action's out on the saltwater now. If you're freshwater fishing, you got to go for mostly pike and smallmouth bass. Everything else will be waiting till the fall comes back in.
Hey, can I just add one thing about the pike though? Because the water's so warm now, like if you're gonna target pike, just take a little bit of extra precaution. Use a little bit heavier gear, and try to get the fish unhooked and back in the water after a quick picture as quick as possible. Because you will and you can kill these fish if you overplay them, overfight them when the water is this warm. I just want to throw that out there. Just be prepared.
Same thing with trout. If you're fishing a lot of guys are fishing the rivers right now for smallmouth, which is on fire. If you catch trout on accident, get it back in the water and get it down fast. But yeah, I'm on vacation next week, and Chris is on vacation the week after that. So we will be
episode next week.
Yeah, the mystery guest episode will come out next week. The week after that, we're off. We don't care. We're just taking a vacation.
Yeah, we're not going to release an episode that week. Hopefully. We
have a fluke fishing video. Maybe Deuce will put that out that week for them.
Yeah, well, you're going to be fishing. I'm going to be fishing,
I'm not fishing. I'm golfing until at least 4,000 people hit subscribe. I'm golfing from now. After the thunderstorm, I'm not. I'm done.
See, you guys just ruined Joe's fishing career.
I'm not fishing. I'm lifting weights and golfing and eating Pop-Tarts until everyone hits. There's 1,000 members in Mayhem. If every one of you hit subscribe and follow, I would never have to ask ever again. Ever. Just once, but you just suck. Whatever.
Why don't we sweeten the deal? Like when we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, you get the NJ Multi-Species Podcast logo tattooed on your ass cheek or something.
I don't know about that.
Come on. How bad do you want it?
Not my ass.
Somewhere else?
Possible. I could make that deal. Why would they? Do you think they're going to like it to see me get a tattoo? No one cares.
I don't know. They like all kinds of weird shit.
That's true. All right. If I get 1,000 tattoos, if I get 1,000 YouTube subscribers within the next 2 months, I'll get the logo tattooed on my body live on YouTube.
I'll tell you what, I will hold him up to that, but that 2 months to get, what do we need? 600 something more?
6 something, yeah. I'll get the tattoo. I don't care.
I'll hold him up to it. I'll make sure he does it, but I don't 600 something. You guys better start getting, you guys better start ordering a lot of, Russian prostitutes to come and sign up.
We're also, Chris, on the horizon of your second hunting season is about to start. We're a month away, and we're going to start getting tree stands ready and putting cameras out. How much hunting is going to come into this podcast, you think?
We didn't call it Multi-Species Fishing Podcast, so I guess title-wise we can talk about.
So there could possibly be some hunting talk coming as the new hunting compendium is out. It looks like there is going to be a bear hunt with the bow for 6 days in October, 3 with the bow, and then the other 3 with the muzzleloader. But yeah, we're working on a lot of stuff. We're out of time for tonight. Andy Still's infuriated already.
Yeah, that's all right. He could change his diaper. Listen, one more thing just before we close out the show, because I feel bad because I missed a lot of his emails. Kevin Lyons sent another email that I checked in between the segments here, and I just want to say, so his wife did a women's only fluke competition, and she got 3rd place. And,
oh, really?
Yeah, apparently, on the boat, she just killed it.
Where was this?
Let me see.
Was it in New Jersey?
Staten Island. No, it was Staten Island Fishing Club.
Staten Island. Oh, that's even bigger. Oh, well, a big shout out to Kevin Lyons. Kevin, your emails have been going to spam, a lot of them, so we are sorry we've been missing. Chase is another one. A lot of his emails get missed, but we try the best we can.
Well,
Thank you to Captain Ron's Fisherman.
Chase has my personal number. He can just text me.
Yeah, that's how we fixed the problem. But he used to send emails. We missed a lot of them.
That's right. Well, I just wanted to say, I apologize for missing the emails, but congratulations to Mrs. Lyons, third place fluke fishing on a pretty big contest, I'm assuming.
Mrs. Lyons, you beat Kevin. She probably outfished Kevin too. He's ashamed of himself now.
Tournament, Joe.
Well, that's true. Good point. He's probably still he still got outfished. He was fishing. He tried anyway. He would have caught one probably and gave it to her, but he just came up empty. She did it herself.
Like this day and age, I guess he could have just said he identified as a female and entered the contest, right?
That you can do that, yeah. I'm gonna do that with my buck tag this year. Like when I shoot a buck, I'm gonna check it. I shot one that identified as a doe, so my buck tag's still good. All right, so we're going to not be here next week, but you will see the mystery guest episode, and then the week after that, we're gone. So goodbye and good night and good luck.